Welcome, everybody, whoever you are, wherever you are, across this wonderful world. Liverpool have won the Community Shield. I'm here with loads of wonderful Reds from around the world. We've got Nigel, we've got Alan, we've got Doug, we've got Fergus. We've got so much to talk about. The players, they weren't quite as rusty as Clark Griswold's son, but some limbs were certainly creaking nonetheless. And, you know, it was a lovely goal by Trent. Mo Salah nailed his penalty, but there's only one place to start, and that's Darwin. You know, the fools that we talked about last time in the last couple of episodes, the absolute numbskull nincompoop idiots who make compilations about misses when you have so many chances and you miss. I don't remember, Nigel, a 6'2" striker coming to Liverpool Football Club and having 4 chances in 30 minutes, nailing one of them, the stooping header, winning a penalty, and basically arriving, crashing into English football like an asteroid, like a comet. Darwin is here. How the devil are you, Nigel?
I'm great after that. I didn't see this most of the second half, any of the second half really, but I'm absolutely thrilled with that. It's a brilliant to get a trophy. As far as I'm concerned, is meaningless. It's performance. The lads were excellent. For him to get off the mark like he did, and from what I've heard, his celebrations when he scored and his celebrations afterwards were great stuff, and it's what you want to see. You want to see him involved. You want to see him. I've been watching some of the training videos of him as well, and he looks like he's really involved, getting in there with being part of everything, and it's exactly what you need from a new guy. Same with Carvalho.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, we'll talk about Fabio Carvalho, who made a great impact off the bench. We'll talk about him in a bit. But Alan, I'm sticking with Darwin, the main man at the moment. I mean, I don't know. You know, no one on this call has, you know, the physique of this 23-year-old, you know. But if one had his physique and 2 had just scored a goal on our debut, I think we would all be ripping our shirts off and, you know, taking the yellow card just to go mad, just to go berserk, just to go demented for making such an impact. What thrilled you the most, Alan, about Darwin today?
Just his overall play and his impact the minute he came on. He was just brilliant. It was just fantastic to see him. And there's one thing I love is a player that celebrates with all his heart, and he did that. It's something to see that passion in a player, especially so early in his career in Liverpool, is what I want to see. And yeah, I wish I had a body like his. I'd be going around topless, I can tell you. But
you wouldn't need to score a goal first.
I'd be scoring all right, but not in soccer. But, no, he's fantastic. He's just his movement. He's linking up. He's bursting off the side of. You know, he's coming from the side. He's running in, and then runs that we missed before. His goal. Oh my God, that's a real striker's goal, like just in kind of a diving header. Wow, that's what we've been missing, and he is just super. And people forget, some of my friends I was talking to today were saying to me, oh, what age is he, 24, 25? I said, no, he's only a kid, he's only like young, he's going to get better and better. And brilliant that he got involved to win the penalty and then to score on his first real game, you could say. Fantastic. I'm over the moon.
Over the moon, into the stars. Absolutely beautiful. It's great to have so many people in the chat already. Michael's here. You know, hello, Michael. Michael O'Connor, great to have you with us. And Gary Richards, who's been talking Darwin up. He says here Nunez will score 35 goals after, you know, correcting himself, because just a few seconds earlier he said Nunez will score 34. So now it's gone up by 1 in just a matter of seconds from Gary Richards. Great to have you with us, Gary. And another thing he says, Haaland's miss must be memed. Yes, well, you could say which one. There was an awful one in the first half, but I know the one you mean, the one right at the end. You know, I mean, strikers miss chances. There was a lot of talk, a lot of chat, a lot of, you know, what do you call it? Nonsense? Probably nonsense, Doug, about the whole, you know, Darwin versus Erling, Dingerling, Haaland. Before this match. You know, Darwin was mercilessly wonderful, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, first of all, it's an absolute pleasure to be back on after what seems like weeks, absolutely weeks. So, yeah, it is great to be back on. And, yeah, Darwin, wow. What an impact he had. I mean, probably should do better with the one over Ederson, but I tell you something. He was very, very good today. And as Alan says, that is the mark of a good striker's finish. Really, really good finish. I mean, to be honest, Robertson had one in the first half where he should head that across goal and probably like on a Salah or Diaz or Firmino probably finishes that. But in that instance, I think Robertson did see the actual Darwin Nunes being in the box. But I mean, you can say that we were very, very good, and I have to say as well, I thought City were very lethargic, and I wonder if that's because of them playing only 2 pre-season friendlies. We played 4, so you could see who was the more sharper team today, and I feel that we were definitely the more sharper team.
It's a great answer. Pleasure to have you back with us, Doug. That's Doug from the Dugout Football channel on YouTube. If you don't know it, check it out. Why not? There you go. Check it out on YouTube. Excellent stuff. Thank you very much, Doug. Fergus, your internet's playing up. You've been in and out, you know, up and down with your connection. But, Fergus, are you there? How are you feeling after that beautiful 3-1 win?
Yeah, I'm here. Okay. Yeah, I've just been figuring things out, but I think everything's working now. Can you hear me okay?
Beautifully. Loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's a fantastic win. I think Liverpool have had a fair share of bad luck and not finishing chances in big matches, such as last season, the Champions League final. You know, we're all trying to forget it and get off to a good start this year, which has really helped today. You know, we've done that. You know, Darwin, you've started off on the right topic, because I really think he's a brilliant new addition. He's so enthusiastic, young. He clearly is intent on grasping his chance for playing for one of the biggest, if not the biggest and best club in the world. And, you know, I'd probably go as far as to say he's really going to transform our season. I think we're going to have to adjust the way we play, because he's a bit more like a Torres or a Suarez in that he plays on that offside line, but he's an incredible finisher. We saw that today. And, you know, I'd probably go as far as to say if we'd have had him in the Champions League final, we probably would have won, because he's a penalty box player. He can spin, and he finishes far more of his chances than any of our other players. So yeah, brilliant feeling after today. So much optimism for the season. Last season I bet us at 45-1 to win the Champions League and League double. So we got to the final day for both competitions, but I feel that we'll be there or thereabouts this coming season as well, and we could well be on for the big double.
Oh man, I love it. I'm not a betting man, but you know, it's worth a punt that Jurgen's Rocket Reds are going to clean up again. Absolutely fantastic answer. Great to have everybody in the chat. Josh is here, Chelsea fan. He says he's not a baker anymore. Hope you don't disown me for it. Don't worry about that, Josh. You know, it's I didn't love you just for your donuts. But Nicholas is here. Nicholas Linder. He says the fear in Cancelo's eyes every time he was one-on-one with Salah. Love it. And that's another positive to talk about from today, Nigel. Mo Salah, I mean, every year I get a bit scared of how good he is. Like he's beginning to frighten me. How scary
I'll have to log
he is.
out and go back in again.
Oh, okay.
Give me one
okay,
moment.
all right. Okay, yeah, he's also scared of Mo Salah. No worries. I'm gonna bring that question to you, Alan. As Fergus was saying, the advanced nature of Darwin. He's a more advanced striker. He's playing on the offside line, and you could see the link up that we were talking about before here on Kop On, that we're really excited about. Also with Naby Lad as well, having an advanced number 9 running forward, causing havoc. But the link up play between Salah and Darwin, it looks like they're really enjoying it. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, I agree with what Fergus said too. We will have to play a little different, and we already are. So that's fantastic. But Salah today was just, from the first second, he was electric. You know, it was just 2 minutes into the game, he'd already gone by 3 or 4 players. Once or twice he'd passed, and to link up with not just Darwin, but with everybody. It's like in the first few minutes, you know, Salah was picking out players with passes. He wasn't, you know, running for goal or trying to shoot. He was looking up. He was passing. I think him and I think Nunez is going to give Salah even more of a new lease of life, because he's going to take so much attention away. And I think Salah's going to have more room to run into and make these lovely runs and passes and top bin shots and stuff. But I agree with what Fergus said about, if we had a Nunez last year, we could have, you know, won that Champions League final or won a few more games, even a few points, where we just missed that player running off the shoulder, that new dimension. And I don't think it's a coincidence either. Like, the best teams in the world are always a little bit ahead when it comes to tactics and things like that. And both us and City all of a sudden have went out and got 2 out-and-out strikers. But I think it's the sign of things to come, that we're both working forward, thinking forward, and I think this is a big season to come from both Nunez and Haaland, to be fair to him. Like, he looked good today as well.
He did. You know, fair play to him. Obviously, you've got to get in the, you know, it's difficult to get any kind of space for any kind of chance against Virgil and Matip. But Haaland, he did well. You know, hats off to him. But you know, not good enough. It's funny for me, Man City, Doug. I don't know what you made of their performance, but I thought, you know, De Bruyne. Martin Tyler, God, I had Martin Tyler. God, for the first time in ages, I was listening to Martin Tyler. He sounds like, you know, when you get put on hold, and then you trying to, like, you know, get through to your bank, and then you put on hold, and then, you know, maybe you get turned back to, and you just end up calling them back, and you got to go through the switchboard again, all the different options, you know. Hello, welcome to the bank. Please press 1 if you would like to open an account. And no one wants to open an account. They're calling because they've got a problem, you know? And you're just there. And by the time you've called them back and you're going through the options again, and then you get put on hold again, after 5 minutes of that, that's what Martin Tyler sounds like. But he did say that Kevin De Bruyne is the only survivor from the squad that Pep Guardiola inherited. And I think they still look a little bit like a one-man team. Is that harsh, Doug? I mean, I think Kevin De Bruyne is by far their best player.
We made him look very ordinary today. The amount of times that Thiago, Fabinho and Henderson was getting past him, and more often than not, he was actually really misplacing passes. But as I said earlier, I thought City were very lethargic today. So I mean, Cancelo did look very, very scared every time Salah was on him. And I think there was another moment in the second half. I think it was like there was like a 2-on-1 with Harvey Elliott and Mo Salah on Cancelo, and his eyes just lit up, and he was very, very scared. But I have to say, not just that, I thought Luis Diaz on the other side, I thought he gave Kyle Walker real problems. as well. And I bet Chelsea are pretty happy that they didn't sign anything. Ake. I thought he was terrible today as well. And Bernardo Silva was completely missing. We didn't hear. I didn't hear a single word. I don't know who's more unluckier. I had Sam Matterface, so I can't stand anyway, or Owen gets Martin Tyler. So in the comments, who's unluckier, me or Owen, for having me having Sam Matterface and Owen having Martin Tyler? I think probably Owen wins at that one. But I honestly thought today. I mean, obviously Alvarez comes on in the sort of the second half. I think he kind of changed the game a little bit, because I think that front three, Mahrez, I don't know what was wrong with him. Mahrez, to me, kept passing the ball back to Adrian. Jack Grealish couldn't stay on his 2 feet. He was always on the ground every single time.
Grealish was rubbish.
Holland had, I think, 8 touches in the first half, which was the fewest amount of touches that any other player has had as well. So, yeah, for me, I just think we got them on a good day, because I think we made City look very, very ordinary today. And actually, I'd have to say as well, I thought Ederson's kicking, especially in that first half, was very, very woeful as well. And I suppose where credit is due, I thought Adrian had a pretty good game today.
Yeah, we're going to go through our players in a minute. We'll do some player ratings and go through our team. But no, it's a really interesting answer. They've only played 2 pre-season games, Nigel, Man City. Is that something that you would worry about if you were a City fan, you know, going into this game? I mean, they looked a little bit off it to me.
Yeah, they did. They looked a little bit lethargic and slow. But just like to say about the commentary, Martin Tyler, Sam Matterface, it's like going to the bathroom and finding second-hand toilet paper. They're absolutely diabolical. But anyway, I think City, when he's not playing, City miss Gundogan badly. Gundogan does all the very little simple things and releases De Bruyne. And Bernardo Silva didn't turn up. Bernardo Silva is great when he's got his back to the wall. And he's kind of, usually when he's playing against Liverpool, he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder and he's going around giving players a little kick and stuff like that. He looks off it. They missed Gundogan, I think, today badly. I think they normally rely a little bit more on their full backs going forward. And Luis Diaz and Mo Salah had these two on toast, and they were kind of switching over and back and not having to go forward. So I think our style interrupted or stemmed their flow more than anything. Just going back to Nunez for a second, I think he gives us a different option. When we were putting the ball in before, we had no kind of big man to knock the ball back, like the penalty. So if Salah's going to cut in and he's opening up and he's trying to curl one into the top corner, suddenly the guy is standing in his way. Stand one up to the back post instead, and Diaz has a header. Rather than having Mane, who's a little bit shorter, great player, great pace, love Sadio. But this is just a different option. I think it gives us that little bit something different than we have had before. So it might make a bit of a difference.
I think so. And I think Man City were rattled when Darwin came on. Like, you know, I saw a few of their defenders sort of turning quickly over their shoulder when a ball was in the air just to see if Darwin was there or not. And there's this little element of doubt that, you know, when it creeps into players' minds, it can create the tiny bit of space. I mean, City they are such a dangerous team.
Oh, good side.
Like sort of, oh, they're a really good side. It's like, you know, going to sleep in Dracula's castle. You never know if you're going to wake up again, you know. But it's such fun to beat them.
I just think putting the fullbacks on their heels, I just think was a little bit of that's what we've got to be looking for with Salah and Diaz. And then Nunez, and I'm bringing in Bobby then as well. I think we've got to keep pushing them like that. And Carvalho, actually, as well, for that matter.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, well, let's start going through the match. I mean, why not? It's I've got the player ratings, player stats in front of me but we're going to start with a position where it doesn't really need the stats. It's Adrian. Adrian in goal, Fergus. 35 years old. I think the last time he was in a big match for us was the Super Cup. You know, I mean, he made a big mistake in the Champions League as well, of course. But I mean, I thought he did relatively well. His passing accuracy was only 60%. He kept whacking the ball into touch. But apart from that, he was okay. He was at fault for their goal, but he was okay, wasn't he, Adrian?
Yeah, well, we can make excuses for him. Adrian is in the squad for his personality. He's a training goalkeeper. You know, he was even a reserve at West Ham. So, you know, he gives me the willies every time he's on the pitch. He whacks it out of play. He made a few good saves. He's obviously a professional goalkeeper and he can save shots. He made one or two good saves, but he's a third choice goalkeeper by, you know, because of his ability. He's a great guy. He's a great lad. You know, he's great to have around. You know, he is obviously, we all love him because of his personality, but as a goalkeeper, he's not really up to it. Kelleher would have been playing today if Alisson wasn't fit. So, we got away with it. His passing is poor. So, you know, we can't, you know, luckily he didn't make a bad mistake for us today. You can't blame him for the goal. He did make a save, but no, I wouldn't be having Adrian, except he's there for his, you know, for his bringing good vibes around the club, really. And he's an experienced number 3, and that's why he's there. It's better to have him than Harvey Davis, put it that way, or another academy or young goalkeeper. But do you want to go through the players one by one, or, you know, basically just to have my say, I thought Hendo was magnificent today. I thought he was man of the match. I'm a huge Henderson fan, having been one of his biggest critics. You know, during the bad days, even during Klopp's early reign, I thought get Henderson out of the club. You know, you always look, when things are going bad, you always look for a scapegoat. And for me, Henderson was that scapegoat. I thought he wasn't good enough. But now he's a captain, he's a leader, he drives us. He's an incredible player. So Henderson was magnificent. I thought Fabinho was magnificent as well. He had a poor end of last season. If Henderson and Thiago had played to their best, we probably could have won that Champions League final, even without, you know, Darwin Nunez or whatever. But Fabinho had a bad end of the season. He was brilliant today. I thought Trent was good. I thought Matip was excellent. Quietly
Well, hang
excellent.
on. Whoa. Fergus, you can't just rip through my agenda like Superman ripping through the air towards Lois. But no, I mean, I think it's a very good point to bring up Hendo, though. Absolutely. But you thought he was fantastic today, Fergus. What about, there were a few passes. I mean, I loved a lot of his first time passing was very good. And the way that he kept the team moving, I thought that was really good. But there were a couple of times where he overhit fairly simple passes that would have led to an attack, a really dangerous attack. It would have led to us getting in behind, especially, I think, in the first half. I remember that. But, you know, like, tell me more about what you loved. Why was he man of the match for you?
Well, Hendo is the driving force of our team. He's the energy behind our team. And he pushes the team so hard. And, okay, he's not technically the most gifted player, but he is our driving force. And I know it's controversial, but I would pick Henderson. They play in different positions, and thankfully we can get them both in the team at the same time. But I would pick Henderson over Thiago any day, because Thiago today, he was fine, he did well. I mean, we know Thiago is a supremely gifted player, but he doesn't have the physicality that Henderson has. He doesn't get about the pitch like Henderson does. Thiago can put a tackle in, he can run, but he can't recover. He can't do those recovery runs that Henderson does. So, you know, I'm like a convert. I'm like a born again. when it
Born
comes
again
to
Hendo missionary. Excellent stuff. Yeah, great. No, I mean, you're welcome to your opinion. I couldn't disagree more because I thought Thiago was absolutely fabulous today, but that's okay. That's okay. I love them both. Yeah, there you go. I mean, yes, you're right about Thiago's running. It's something we've mentioned a lot, but it's something that he's actually improved upon. Jordan Henderson had 2 tackles today, which is unusually high for him. He doesn't have to make many tackles. 2 tackles and 3 interceptions, which is very, very good. Offensively, he just made 1 key pass, no shots. There was a moment where he could have shot, but he decided not to. Yes, in terms of his passing range, Henderson was at 70%. He would want to do better than that, but he was trying lots of risky balls. I thought his passing could have been better today, but it was, as you said, a very driving performance from him, and I thought he was really good. Thiago, on the other hand, Alan, Thiago Alcantara, his passing was 94.9%. Thiago also made 3 tackles, which is more than Henderson, and I think it's going to be just, more fun, Alan. Again, we're just so lucky to have this fun to watch Thiago play for our team. How did you feel about Thiago today?
Oh yeah, I thought Thiago was fantastic today. It's not often I disagree with Fergus, but I thought he was fantastic. He was biting in, he was tackling a lot more. His whole game's improved. There was one particular time around the 15th, 16th minute, I think it was, where it was like 2 teams met in the middle and started the battle. There was a few, not dirty, but a few hard tackles. And on the left-hand side of the pitch, we had Diaz, Bobby, and Thiago put in some amazing tackles. It was like 2 boxers meeting in the middle of a ring and punching it out for a few seconds. And Thiago came away with the ball, passed it off, and to me that was the breaking point of City today. It was
beautiful. I know exactly what you mean. That sort of like little trick he did at the end by the touchline to pass it back. Absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, and I thought that's where City had put up their battle. It was 2 teams coming head on, and we came out on top. And I thought he was brilliant today with his tackling, running, everything. I thought he was fantastic. I would probably have him up there as one of the men of the match. But I'm not Henderson's biggest fan, as everybody knows. But I did think he played well today. He was quite good. He made a few bad passes, but I think every player on both teams did that today. But I did think he had a great game as well. Yeah, and as I say, I'm not his biggest fan, but I appreciate his strengths. And one thing I did notice about him today that I would criticise him about a lot is his passes weren't backwards all the time; they were forward. So I credit him for that.
Excellent answer. Absolutely, yeah. And if you were to choose someone, because I don't want to go through the whole team one by one from the back to the front, because that's too predictable. If you want to choose someone else, Alan, to talk about who stood out for you, sort of, who we haven't mentioned, maybe. I mean, we had, Trent, Joel Matip, Virgil, Robbo, Fabinho. We haven't really talked about Firmino. Haven't talked about the subs. Anyone?
Yeah. Well, I thought, even though he only had a few minutes on the pitch, I thought Carvalho was sensational when he came on. He was in the game like that, and he led up. He was the one that created that third goal by winning the ball back. He passed it out to Naby, and then he demanded the ball. You could see him demanding the ball back. Again, he went forward, and that's what led to our third goal. So I think that kid is a sensation. I heard someone quoting yesterday that Klopp had an interview, and they asked him about Carvalho, and apparently Klopp said, he's that good, I don't even know what position to put him into, that he can play so many positions, So that's some statement to come from Jurgen Klopp about a player like that. But I just thought he just came into the game like he played the full 90 minutes. He just hit the park running. And for a player to come on for the last 5 minutes of the game, plus 7 minutes, just to make that impression just says a lot about his mentality, his strength, and he really impressed me.
Yeah, it's a super answer. It's a super answer. Fabio Carvalho came on in the 89th minute. He only managed 3 passes, but they were all accurate. And he did look lively. And that's an interesting thing about going forward, because I know that a lot of fans, I used to be really obsessed with formation as part of, talking about football and tactics. But then I had a conversation, or a few conversations, with one of my students who was, working in football. He was the assistant manager of Arsenal at one point, and he's now the manager at another team in Spain. And he was explaining to me how, it's often when people talk about football, they talk about formation, and it can be important, but most of the time it isn't really. If you've got good players on the pitch, then it's more, what they do in the formation that's important. But, formations can be fluid, was his point, And I think that's something I don't know how you feel about that, Doug, about Fabio Carvalho, about Klopp saying he's not sure where to put him exactly. There's a lot of that. Harvey Elliott's the same, where you just put them on the pitch and they're so good, they're just going to do good things. Obviously you could say they're attacking players who can come from midfield to attack, and that will do. So, if you're picking a team, you can pick, okay, defense has to be organized. You pick a back 4. But beyond that, okay, Fabinho in the 6, and then Thiago can go wherever he likes. And then you've got all these attackers who you can just say, play, can't you, Doug? And it'll be difficult for the opposition to work it out, because they're all in free rolls.
Well, I can tell you something. We are spoilt for choice for people coming off the bench today. I mean, that bench today, I think, is one of the strongest benches I can seem to remember. As well, I know we obviously had stronger benches obviously last season as well, but just the players that came on today. Obviously, Naby Keita, James Milner, Fabio Carvalho, Harvey Elliott, like Darwin Nunes, it was just fantastic. It's just, that's what you want. You want a very, very good squad, and obviously the 5 subs is going to help us massively. It is going to help us massively. Fabio Carvalho, I've been a huge Carvalho fan since his Fulham days. He has been fantastic during pre-season, and I actually think that he could have a very good breakout season this season. I think Harvey Elliott is another one who is going to be very, very special as well. And I think as well, with the amount of games that are coming in thick and fast, I do think there will be a little bit of rotation between probably Diaz and then probably put Carvalho there. And obviously you got Firmino, you got Darwin Nunes, and obviously got Harvey Elliott as well. So I think Klopp will know about how he does his rotation as well. And look, if Alisson is back next week, he goes straight into the team against Fulham. I don't have any doubts about that in particular. But I think the team you saw start today will probably be the team that starts against Fulham next week. But we are spoilt for choice with 2 fantastically gifted players, and Fabio Carvalho and Harvey Elliott. I honestly think these 2 are going to be an absolute joy to watch.
Totally. Absolutely wonderful answer. Yeah, beautiful stuff. And Doug, if you were to choose someone from Trent or Joel Matip or Virgil or Robbo to talk about from defence, would you choose one of them?
Yeah, I thought both fullbacks today, Robbo in particular, he should do better with that header, but we obviously saw in the second half that he has got a brain, and he obviously heads it back for Darwin Nunes, and it reminded me a little bit of the Firmino goal to the Etihad a wee bit, because Salah made a very, very good ball, and obviously Robbo heads it down, and obviously Firmino heads it in. But this time it was obviously Salah to Robbo to Darwin Nunes. So yeah, for me, I thought Robbo was excellent today. Trent, my goodness me, how many times did he go past Grealish like he wasn't there? Honestly, I honestly think Trent is just getting better and better and better. And yeah, people can have this argument of, oh, he can't defend, he can't defend, he can't defend. You watched that today. How many times did he go past Grealish? How many times did he go past Kevin De Bruyne? He was an absolute joy to watch. Honestly, if you'd given me, if you gave me like 4 or 5 man of the matches, I could have probably said Robbo, Trent, Thiago, Hendo, and then probably Mo Salah. Spoiled for choice. Spoiled for choice.
It's madness, isn't it, Nigel? I know you wanted to talk about Fabio Carvalho, so you can go back to Fabio Carvalho. You can go forward to the fullbacks. You can go somewhere else. You can talk about whatever the heck you want, because I haven't planned this. We're just off the cuff. Talk about the joy of beating City.
Yeah, well, the joy of watching the skid mark that is Grealish, you know what I mean? Oh, God, he's terrible. But anyway, I want to talk about... He is
terrible.
Yeah. Our system. You're talking formation. I'm talking system. The way our lads fit into the system, more than fit into a formation. They're told what to do, and Hendo is the leader of that, and he starts it up, and then other people kind of work around him from the midfield. And the outballs coming from the fullbacks as they bomb past. And we have Fabinho, the best holding midfield player in the world. Hendo will push forward and back, not as much as he used to, but and then you have Thiago with all the passing. The only thing about Thiago, what you said about it, is a little bit of pace and a little bit of working back maybe, but I wouldn't swap Thiago for anybody in that system. Like then we have the 3 boys up front. The way we play is not formation, it's system. The way the fullbacks push on and stuff like that, and the way everything just works. It's all cogs. It's all interconnected. The way we play.
It really is, and it was interesting. I can't find a heat map. I was just trying to find one of Trent today, but at one point he turned up in sort of attacking left midfield position, and that's the sort of free role that he's going to get. You know, with you know, other players dropping into cover for him, where he can just sort of roam and you know, cause a lot of damage. So yeah, I mean, and go on.
No, keep going. I was just going to say about like we kind of drop into a back 3 kind of, and then Fabinho will sit and cover across wherever he needs to cover across. If he goes and to a maybe in a sense to Thiago, possibly drop in if Robbo pushes past him, or if Trent pushes past Hendo. They'll just sit in some of the time, not all the time. But like he's bought players. Like he's bought Carvalho. I won't mention Nunes in this context, but he's bought Carvalho and he's got Harvey Elliott there already, who are kind of lesser cogs at the moment to come in when Thiago they can't really do a Fabinho, but I'm sure they can do a Henderson. The way he plays, so we need possibly to kind of find another Fabinho, just a sitting midfield player, a younger sitting midfield player, so we can have a rotation in that sense. We don't have anybody to rotate Fab at the moment, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for a very long time. Yeah, absolutely, a couple of years. We you know, personally, I would like that, but and lots of other fans as well. Yeah, like you say, you agree, and lots of other fans are all thinking the same thing. So yeah, I mean, I would agree totally. But yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean, the big business starts next weekend, of course, Fergus, and you know, against Fulham. Would you start with the same defence, for example? I mean, especially central defence, Joel Matip and Virgil, because they were good today.
Yeah, I would actually. I'd start. I'm a huge Matip fan. I think that, gosh, his name has just gone from my head, but the chap we bought from RB.
Oh yeah, Konate.
Yeah, Konate. I mean, Konate is a brilliant player, and he's obviously going to inherit the Matip shirt. But right now, Matip has done nothing wrong. He had his best season for us last year. He's because of the rotation he had last year, he avoided injury. Last year, Klopp was picking Konate in the European games and Matip more in the Premier League games until the end of the season. So yeah, I'm a huge Matip fan. I have been since he signed for the club. You know, he actually started as, or used to play a lot in defensive midfield. Obviously, we haven't played him in that position, but you can see from his footballing ability how he has these soft feet where he can dribble, he can pass nicely through the midfield. He's not a long passer like Virgil, but he's a great short passer. He can just see the gap and he can hit those incisive through balls, through to the midfield, through to the forwards, and he can also dribble. So yeah, I'm a huge Matip fan. In terms of the starting 11, I mean, even today I would have gone for Darwin over Firmino. And I think Darwin is, you know, you call him Starwin, I can't disagree. He's nailed on. You know, he could be our top scorer this year. We need to, Diaz on the left, he shows great touches. He's obviously got fantastic ability. He's got all the ability in the world, but he needs to step up because Mane was a regular. He scored 20 goals a season. Diaz has to add goals to his game. We can see he's got the ability, but he really needs to step up to the plate in terms of delivering numbers. You know, it's a numbers game. When you're a Liverpool forward, it's a numbers game. You've got to get, you know, Salah numbers, Mane numbers, and now Darwin has to get numbers as well, which he will. And Darwin was clearly superior to Haaland today. Haaland is a great striker. They're similar in some ways. Haaland is a between the sticks goal scorer, the same as Darwin is, but Darwin is clearly much better outside the box. Haaland had hardly any touches today, but Darwin, you can see, he can run the channels as well and link the play as well as score. So yeah, in terms of next season, you know, I'd say I'm ready to put us back on our perch. Alex Ferguson always said he knocked Liverpool off their perch. I don't think he did. I think it was Graham Souness who did, because I remember those days when Souness was our manager. He sold all our best players and he bought players like Julian Dixon, Mark Wright, and you know, it was Souness who destroyed our club. He sold Bruce Grobbelaar. Well, I mean, you may laugh, Owen, but you know, this is my theory, and it is an unusual.
No, I mean, I'm laughing because it's funny to look back at you know, Julian Dix in a red shirt. I don't know, just to reminisce. I remember how just obvious from the outset that it wasn't going to work. But there you go.
He destroyed a 30-year dynasty because of his ego, and he's actually admitted as much since. Because he actually refused to give Ian Rush a pay rise. You know, one of the greatest scorer in living memory. He refused to give him a pay rise, and he drove him out of the club. He sold Bruce Grobbelaar, who'd won numerous trophies, and you know, it was a bad time. But anyway,
Beardsley's the one for me. Beardsley is the one for me. So Peter Beardsley,
I was just going to say that.
Absolutely. Crazy talk. But let's bring it back to the present. Let's bring it back because we've been into the trough. You know, our old ship cracked in half.
Just to finalise my point, Owen, I think we're going to equal Man United's record this year of 21 Premier League titles. Okay, you call it the First Division or Premier League, it's the same thing. Even though Sky likes to make us avoid all of the records that Liverpool have. But I'm ready to put it back in our perch. It's 21, isn't it, Owen? Correct me if I'm wrong.
20, just 20. Yes, 20.
We have 20, but Man United have 21.
19. We have 19 and they have 20. But yes.
Okay.
So 21 is the magic number we're going to get to next season, at the end of next season.
I totally agree. I think we will get back on it. And also, to broach another controversial topic, I think FSG are the best owners in world football.
Ooh, wow! No, that's a conversation for you know, a several-hour podcast. But I like that. Yes, okay. I think they're very good. They've made mistakes, but they're very, very good. Time and again, they have made some, you know, great decisions that we can talk about absolutely. But I want to go back to to the team against Fulham. So Fergus, you're saying Matip, the same team as today, basically, but with Darwin instead of Bobby. Is that what you would play against Fulham?
Exactly. That's what I would play. Correct.
Excellent stuff. Okay. Alan, what about you against Fulham? Would you agree with Fergus there? The team against Fulham should be the same, but with Darwin?
Yeah, pretty much. I would, yeah. Yeah, I'd start that team with Darwin. Yeah.
Well, very good. Maybe we're all in agreement. Nigel, Doug, are we all in agreement? Just
no.
That seemed no.
Okay,
no.
I'd start Bobby. Bring on Nunes. About half an hour to go. Yeah.
Okay. Because I think that helped him. Go on.
A little bit of seniority has to come in there sometimes as well. A little bit of loyalty to your players, I think. A little bit of loyalty to Bobby. Give him the start. See how it goes. If he can get a goal or two, all the better for him. Darwin's had his start. He's had a goal. Try and get Bobby a goal early on against Fulham. Then bring on Nunes. He can score a hat-trick in 20 minutes. No problem. Seen it the other night.
It's an interesting idea. I like it, and it's quite a convincing one. What would you say, Doug? Would you agree with Nigel that Bobby should start, show a bit of loyalty to the senior players?
Well, this is where I think the good thing about the 5 subs comes in, because basically, if obviously Firmino, Salah, Diaz doesn't work against Fulham, and then obviously you've got Darwin to come in for obviously Firmino. You also got Carvalho to potentially come for Diaz. For me, I think the team that played today will practically be the same team that plays Fulham. Apart from obviously Alisson probably coming back in for Adrian. And then I think it's the same back 4, same midfield 3, and then I think it's the same front 3 as well.
Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, I couldn't find the unmute button there for a moment. Okay, very good. Okay, well, we all agreed then. This is fine. We're going to destroy Fulham. We've got another friendly tomorrow. I'm not going to watch it because it's my mum's birthday. So, happy birthday to my mum. Yeah, I mean, going back to today, you mentioned the touches of the players. I mean, Erling Haaland finished the match with 16 touches, according to WhoScored.com. And Darwin Nunes had 11 touches only, including he scored, and he almost scored another 3, and he won a penalty. Absolute madness. It's great. I mean, what else can we discuss? We've got loads of things we can do. Anyone want to chip in with something we haven't done yet?
Hi, Owen. Go on, Fergus. I can suggest a couple of topics.
Yeah, go on.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, as I said, actually, going back to one topic, I think Pep Linders, never lived in Holland, so I'm not sure about the
I'm not sure either. Yeah.
Pronunciation. Okay. Yeah, but I think it's Linders, but I think his influence is growing. I've actually just ordered his book. He's bought a book called Intensity. So I got on the pre-order, and it's arriving. I just got an email from the LFC Club shop yesterday that it's going to arrive. It's been sent because I got it on the pre-order, but it's been sent yesterday. So I'll be one of the first people to read that. And the book Intensity is actually his diary from last season, right? Well, last season was one of the greatest seasons in LFC's club history. As you know, Owen, I'm of a certain age, and I've always defended the teams of the past because I grew up with them. And I still think, controversially, that Phil Neal is a better right back than Trent, because I remember those days. He won 22 trophies in 11 seasons, including 6 league titles and 4 Champions Leagues. So, I mean, Phil Neal is the greatest right back in Liverpool history. But I think that this current Liverpool team is getting up there with the great Liverpool teams. I mean, we've had, 3 Champions League finals in 4 seasons, 1-1. We've had, 1 Premier League title and is it 2 or 3 second place finishes? So
on 97 points and above 90 whatever points.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So absolutely incredible team and club, and Pep Linders is looking like the next. Long may Jurgen reign and long may he stay. God save our king Jurgen.
Yeah, and, God save our Jurg. Forget the Queen.
Yeah, exactly. I think that the Liverpool fans should start singing "God Save Our Jurg." But Jurgen is the Shankly for the new generation. Even I don't remember Shankly, but I do know the legends and the stories of how he changed the club from a struggling second division team into the best team in the world and the best team in Europe, the best team in England, and a backwater club, provincial club, to the best team in the world. And the whole mythology of Liverpool is built around Shankly. He's the Jesus of our club, and I think Jurgen is the second coming of Shankly, in that he has brought a club from the doldrums of what's the name of that Fulham manager?
Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson, yes, from the Roy Hodgson days through the Brendan Rodgers days. Now Klopp has he's the Shankly. He has rebuilt our club, and Linders is also in there as well. So yeah, I suppose that's the topic I wanted to discuss. Is that this is one of the greatest Liverpool teams of all time, and that Man City are basically a jumped-up club, pumped full of illegal accounting and oil money, and they're our only challengers. And you can see from their signings, they don't have the organization or the structure of our club. They don't have the analysis of our club, and they're still there based on their money. They don't have the history of our club, and I think this season they'll be found out. So that's the point I'm discussing.
I like it a lot. Alan, what are your thoughts? Klopp, Linders, the culture of Liverpool is our greatest asset.
Yeah, myself and Fergus are obviously from the same generation, because I'm having great memories here listening to him talking about Shankly and Souness stuff. And I think he's right there. I think Pep Linders is going to be the Paisley to take over from Klopp eventually. I did see a thing with Klopp before, where, if you remember Klopp a couple of years back, he wasn't great at bringing on subs. He'd bring on a sub in the last 5 minutes or things like that. And I did see him in an interview or something a few years back where he said Pep Linders is the man that has convinced me to bring on subs. He's always in my ear. So and we all know Jurgen, as we know, gives credit to all his staff. He doesn't take credit where he doesn't think he deserves it. And that's what I love about the man. I think, like Fergus there, I ordered that book too. I ordered one for my son, because if anyone's seen Pep Linders on the end of last season, he did a kind of a YouTube thing, masterclass. I thought it was amazing to listen to him on it.
On the Barcelona game, yeah, I did see that. Absolutely wonderful.
Coach's voice. So I'm really looking forward to this book. So I think he's the, like Fergus said, we don't want Klopp to go anytime soon. But when he does eventually go, Pep Linders could be the Paisley coming in to take over and push on the next step.
I hope you're right, but I wouldn't want to put that pressure on him to win 6 European Cups in 9 years. 4 European Cups in 9 years or whatever. I lost count. 3 European Cups in 9 years. 6 leagues in 9 years. Excuse me, like Paisley did.
Well, obviously not putting that pressure on him. But, what I mean? When Paisley took over, everybody was there. Oh God, what's going to happen? Where he was there in the background. He was already like Pep Linders. He was there. He was friendly with the players. He was their physio at one stage. He carried them on and off the pitch, and they already had the relationship with him. And I think that's what Pep Linders has with our players. The relationship.
Yes, no, it's a great argument. It's a great answer, and I for me, I totally agree. It's the positivity they bring to the club. You could see it in interviews, Doug. You could see it, you know, Klopp lined as the culture they've created at Liverpool is just one of not just winning. I mean, I remember George Graham's Arsenal, for example, in the 80s. They would win, but they would win with this god awful negative. You know, even Gareth Southgate's England, to have a more modern example where it's just turgid, you know, tripe, like swimming in a lake full of tripe to get a 1-0 win. Whereas Klopp and Leinders, they've created positivity and the energy. The counter press was magnificent today, as it has been time and time again, because it's so difficult to play against Man City where they control the ball. But part of Klopp and Leinders, they bring the energy, the positive, you know, and the positivity, and also the tenacity, and they transmit that to the players, Doug. That's one thing I love about Klopp and Leinders and the culture of the team. I mean, they play like we would do, you know, with the same intensity. If only we could, we would play with that hunger and fire. What do you think about all this, Doug?
Oh, that's just a fantastic time to be a Red, isn't it? It really, really is. I mean, Jurgen Klopp is arguably one of our greatest managers ever. And Pep Lijnders, you know, when obviously Klopp came to Liverpool to begin with, it was obviously Klopp and Buvac. And obviously Buvac decided to move on. But I don't know what for reasons unknown, but you know, Pep Lijnders comes in, and yeah, I mean, I have to say, Klopp in press conferences, Lijnders in press conferences as well. It's just fantastic, and it's such a great time to be a Red, knowing we've got those two at the helm as well. But yeah, there's just something different about them. Just something different, and Klopp just reminds me of Shankly so much. Just the charisma he brings to the city of Liverpool as a whole. Yeah, just and Lijnders. I mean, you could arguably say that they probably remind you of obviously the old boot room routine. Obviously, we had Bill Shankly, we had Bob Paisley. Just kind of reminds me of like Klopp being a Shankly and Lijnders being Bob Paisley.
I mean, there are certain definite parallels, aren't there? Yeah, Jurgen. I mean, he's funny as well, isn't he? He's got this great sense of humour that he doesn't take too seriously in life, and he's always talking about life and his ideas about in life. You do this and you don't do that. Absolutely beautiful stuff. What are your thoughts, Nigel?
Yeah, I totally agree with what the lads are saying. I just like to go back on my previous comment when I said about we might not have a Fabinho at the club. I forgot about Stefan Bajcetic.
Ah, yes, Bajcetic, of course.
Bajcetic. Yeah. I forgot about him. I just remembered him now that when you were talking there, and he looks a really good player. He could be he could be our future Fabinho. But yeah, I totally agree with what the lads are saying about Klopp and Lijnders. He just Pep Lijnders just seems so involved with Klopp. Everything is done like it's the system again. It's the same thing. They have a system on the field and have a system off the field. Everything goes through committee, basically. You know, the goalkeepers take care of the goalkeepers. There's enough of them. There's John Achterberg and Jack Robinson are there with the goalkeepers, and you've got the outfield players been looked after by the three. There's actually four. There's the Portuguese guy, Vitor. I can't remember his second name. But
Vitor Matos.
Matos, that's him. Yeah, Vitor Matos. Yeah, him and. You know, they work so well as a team. It's hard to believe. You know, it's the same thing. It's that cogs thing again. Everything working everything interacting. So that's why people were saying that they wanted Steven Gerrard and stuff like that to become like. Gerrard was an unbelievable player, but it's a bit like the Souness thing. Not ready for the Liverpool manager's job. He came in and tried to do his own thing and destroyed it. Yeah, totally. Like they said, I saw a comment once. It said when Dix signed for Liverpool and Julian Dix signed for Liverpool, he went into the dressing room and saw Fowler on the back of a shirt. He thought it was his, but bit of a slow burn. But yeah, I know Jesus. The stuff that Souness bought. He sold Peter Beardsley for 1.1 million to Everton. I know we're going back, but like we just need, we got exactly what we needed in Klopp. He knew what we needed. These lads just, it's like, I'm going back again, a name that hasn't been mentioned here yet and gets so little credit. Gerard Houllier. We had a team of massive underachievers under Ry Evans, starting under Souness. He bought a few of these guys, went on to Ry Evans. Unfortunately, great servant to the club, Ry, but unfortunately, he got a little bit too nice to be manager when this Spice Bite thing this crack was taken over. He was great as a coach, unbelievable, great man at the club, stuff like that. But then player power started taking over, and we were stuck with the vampire in the goal, Neil Ruddock. God Almighty! Don't get me talking about that kind passing thing that he used to go on with. Plenty of others there, and then Houllier came in. James went. Ince went. Bought Sammy Hupia for 2.5 million. Built his own team with a couple of those lads around. Fowler, Rush was still there, and that kind of. Well, maybe no, Rush wasn't still there. But anyway, built his own foundation, and within 3 years, we had won a treble, and ended up winning 5 trophies. Won the treble in 2001, and then won the Super Cup.
He was such a great influence on young Gerard,
and absolutely,
Carragher, bringing them through with great character as well. And
just another thing, and going back
so much.
Yeah, when you were going on about managers and stuff like that. Yeah. Jurgen Klopp is the first manager in our history, and Jordan Henderson is the first captain in our history to have lifted every possible trophy that the club could win. Because of a couple of years ago,
great stat. Okay.
It was actually
the Charity Shield as a trophy, but yes.
But Steve Hunter said this. I was listening to the Liverpool LFC TV commentary on the way home in the car while the match was on, and he was talking about it at the end. And that's the stat he said: the first manager and first captain, to have to win the first. Now,
except for the Europa League.
Except for the Europa League.
We don't want to be in that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Well, only one he didn't win, but we don't mind for the champion.
No, we don't want to be in that,
but we don't mind with what's happened since. No, absolutely super. Yeah, super answer. Good Lord, we're covering everything today. This is great stuff. The Houllier years. I'll never forget. I went to a match once, and he was sitting in the row in front of me, Gerard Houllier, and I just wanted to say something. Just a thank you, but then I thought, oh man, I just want to leave him to his life, and just he won't know that I'm here, and then maybe I'll say something in the second half. And he actually left the game at half time, but it was like, he didn't know, he had no idea that just behind him was sitting someone with so much admiration for the guy, because he was just brilliant. Those days were really good fun as well on the whole. But back to the present. Jurgen Klopp, basically, he's going to have the last word for this podcast. I want to thank Alan so much for joining us, and Fergus and Doug as well. Doug from the Dugout. Doug, what's happening on your channel these days?
Loads of things, really. I'm just trying to get as much content out as possible. Closing in on 2K as well, which is amazing. The growth for the last month, the channel's had has been amazing. So just remember to hit that notifications bell, because YouTube do not like notifications.
Well, yeah, there you go. No, it's absolutely, it's absolutely wonderful stuff. Do check out Doug's channel. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And a great comment here in the comments from Nicholas, who says that Klopp always trusts the young players as well. Bringing on Carvalho at the end today, instead of playing safe with an experienced DM. I mean, that's exactly right. He's just bringing on an attacker for an attacker. Doesn't shirk any opportunity to keep.
If I can come in there, Owen,
yeah,
just on
sure,
a couple
Fergus.
of points before we go. Yeah. I just want to agree with the lads. What the lads are saying there on Carvalho and Elliott. I think they're going to be revelations this season. I mean, we know about Elliott, but Carvalho, I saw his YouTube clips, but I didn't really believe how good he was until I saw him in a red shirt in the preseason. But yeah, he's Coutinho in disguise. He's the reincarnation of Coutinho, the second coming of Coutinho. And obviously Coutinho could have had a much better career if he'd have stayed with us, but that's a different story. But I think they can really help us to rotate in those two number 8 positions. Elliott on the right, Carvalho on the left, but of the midfield 3. But Carvalho can also play in the front 3 on the left in place of Diaz, and Elliott can also play in the front 3 on the right in place of Salah. So that's something to really look forward to this season, and it's a huge strength. When you look at our bench, as Doug said, our bench is so much stronger than City's today, and we have a much stronger bench and squad than City's. And on the final point of the Charity Shield or the Community Shield or the Super Cup, and it is the English League Super Cup, for me it is a really important trophy. For some reason, in England, the English really dismiss it as some sort of pre-season friendly, and even Klopp was aghast when the interviewer asked him, is this just another friendly? Of course it's not just another fucking friendly. This is against Man City. It's the league champions against the FA Cup champions. It's not easy to win the league. It's not easy to win the FA Cup. It's not a pre-season friendly. It is the English Super Cup. The Germans have a Super Cup. There's a European Super Cup. The French have a Super Cup. The Spanish have a Super Cup. Today it's a Super Cup, and we won it.
Excellent stuff, Fergus. Yeah, I mean, I like what Klopp said before the match. He said it's important if you win it, not so important if you don't. And that's how I will always feel about the Community Shield. Alan, you have things to add or something to?
Yeah, just two small things. I don't know if you know, just to show the difference between our fans, our supporters, our team, and City's so-called history. First of all, our fans today were fantastic, singing all day long. But one of the things I noticed, going back to respect and stuff, as the 3 people were led out to meet the team, I don't know who the lady was, an ex-City player, and you had Ian Rush. Ian Rush shook hands with every player and every mascot, which I thought was a lovely thing to do. And then at the end of the game, to show what City are like, there was medals for the runners-up, but City decided not to get them. In what's called a charity match, that's very disrespectful in my view.
I totally agree with you there, Alan, and I noticed that as well. And I remember when I was a young fellow, I was in school, Ian Rush signing an autograph for me, and he was such a lovely man. You can tell from him, he's just really happy to be the legend he is and happy to be represent Liverpool Football Club. What a great man as well as a great player. And I noticed that as well today, the way he shook every mascot's hand and the rest just brushed over them because they were just little kids. So yeah, I totally agree. And City, as you say, failing to turn up for their losers' medals. Okay, that's you could argue them as bad losers or whatever. But yeah, I agree with you on those points.
Yeah, they're little childish little turds, aren't they? Really, I mean, rich, spoiled by the money, I think. But there you go. But well done to Liverpool for putting a fly in their ointment putting a pubic hair in their soup. And, you know, well, you know, it's more joyous than that, isn't it? Because it's all good fun, beating Manchester City. And basically, Jurgen Klopp's going to have the last word, because he said in an interview, apparently, although I haven't seen it myself, according to Yahoo Sport, he said the boys are ready. So thank you very much to everybody who's here today. Thank you so much for everybody watching. And you know, if you want to watch Kop On Live, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And thank you to everybody in the comments. Thank you to all of my guests, Alan, Doug, Nigel, and Fergus. It's been absolutely wonderful talking to you. You'll never walk alone. Thank you, everybody.